is what true leadership is: vulnerable, authentic, and transparent.
Welcome to the Dare to Share Challenge. We have got another amazing guest waiting in the wings coming onto the stage today. If you're new here, welcome. If you're wondering what you've stumbled across, this is the Dare to Share Challenge. Part of the Real and the Raw Leaders movement, where every day I am joined by incredible leaders from across the world, where they quite literally dare to share their truth, their story, their vulnerability. Why? So that you see the human behind the perception, so that you realize the next time that you're feeling fear, doubt, worry, imposter syndrome, like you're not good enough, and you feel alone, you realize that we all experience the same things. We just don't normally share it until now. So that being said, let's welcome our guest for today, Mr. Jerry Rosenthal.
Claire, it is so awesome to be here. Congratulations on the incredible success you're having with the challenge that you're doing. And I'm just excited to be here and share something that will inspire the listeners who are listening.
Jerry, I'm so excited to have you with us. And before we dive in, I always like to ask everyone, what made you say yes to coming on this challenge? Because it's a bit out there, right? Not everyone is brave enough or willing to put themselves out there and be truly vulnerable. So what was it that went through your mind that said, yeah, this is something that I want to be a part of?
All right, Claire, I'll be honest with you. First of all, it was your incredible energy and excitement for what you were doing. I always love to connect myself with people who are passionate for what they actually do. So that honestly was number one. But the second reason was I have taught in my entire coaching career what I like to call VAT. And sometimes when people hear that, they first think I'm saying fat. No, VAT with a V, VAT. And what that represents to me is what true leadership is: vulnerable, authentic, and transparent. And that is how I've been my entire career. That is how I teach people to coach and lead. And so when I saw your raw leadership, I'm like, oh, that's a home for me. And that's why I'm here.
Oh my gosh, I love it so much. It's funny, and I love this when I speak to people from across the world, because you say VAT, the first thing that comes into our head in the UK is tax. That's what they call our tax. But no, I much prefer your take on it, so that is amazing. Jerry, are you ready for us to dive in?
I'm ready.
He's born ready. He's from California. He's just like, easy. Okay, Jerry, before we start, we do need to clarify one thing, and that's which level of vulnerability you're going to be sharing with us today. So we have what I like to call the stretchy level, which is your journey. It's your hero story. It's the things that you've overcome, you've got to the other side, you've extracted the lessons, and they're really powerful to tell and to share and to help people with. Or we have the extreme level, which is something that you're navigating, experiencing, growing through right now, and you're not quite yet on the other side. Neither is a get out clause, but where do you want to take us today, Jerry?
How about somewhere in the middle of both?
I love that. I'm here for that.
Okay.
I'll start off with the stretchy, and then we'll get a little bit more into the depth of now.
Perfect. Okay, so before we start, let's start with question number one, which is, what does being a real and a raw leader mean to you, Jerry? And we're not just talking about in business, right? We're talking about the human. We're talking about the individual, the person that is Jerry, that has an everyday life behind the scenes. That realness and that rawness, how does that look and how does that feel to you as you go about your daily life?
You know, that's a fantastic question, Claire. And, you know, I believe I have studied under the amazing John Maxwell. And one of the things that John says is that leadership is influence, nothing more and nothing less. And so many people, you know, think to themselves, well, I don't really have a lot of people that I influence. And that is absolutely untrue, because every day we are influencing people around us by the way we think, the way we act, the way we respond, and the way that we do things. And I think that when people understand that, they look at how they live their lives a little bit differently. Every day for me as a leader, the leader in business to me is the same person who's a leader to my son, to my friends, to my church, to my community. It's just done a little bit differently. And we have to lead by example. And so I believe that we have to become the person that we really want to help other people become first. We need to be that person that's passionate and excited, that has hope, that in the midst of your challenges, because this is what makes a true leader to me. And this is not easy to do, but in the midst of your challenges, of your adversities, of the valleys that you find yourself in, how do you react and respond to that? What do other people see in you as you're going through that? Do they see the victim? Poor me, why me? Why did this happen to me? Well, why not you? Nobody gets a get out of jail card free in this life, so why not you? We all go through stuff. Or do they see that leader that says, life is not happening to me, life is happening for me? That this challenge is here to teach me something, to stretch me, to grow me, to develop me, to go to that next level. It's how your mindset operates. It's how you think. It's what you focus on. It's what you speak. It's what you share. I teach this all day, every day for the last 15 years, the power of our mindset, which affects our leadership. And I believe the mindset of leadership is so important because I've never met a successful leader that constantly had a jacked up mindset. You got to get your mindset in strength so that you can become the leader you want to become. And it's something you live. It's not something that you do.
Yeah, I love that so much. It's like that saying, be the change that you want to see in the world. You have to be it first before you can expect anybody else to listen to your words. They have to see you living it first. So powerful. So powerful. Beautiful. Okay, Jerry, are you ready for the big question?
Let's hear it.
So for you guys watching, I always just like to set the scene. I never know what any of the guests or the speakers are going to share with us. I don't give them any guides. They can take us wherever they want to take us. But I do request that they make it a little bit stretchier than normal. They go a little bit more vulnerable than they would normally go. Why? So that they go first and they showcase their human behind the perception. So with that being said, Jerry, what are you willing to dare to share with us today?
All right, Claire, here. And I have to say, Claire is right. Didn't tell me anything. We didn't have any script, didn't have anything written out. We just got on the call and said, let's roll. So Claire is exactly true in what she's saying. Well, I'm going to go back in time a little bit to be able to fast forward to now, because I really want people to understand that many times as leaders, we don't really know what's truly going on inside somebody. You can see a leader who looks great on the outside. Everything is incredible. They're living the life that you're dreaming of, but they're dying a slow death on the inside. And that kind of is where my story really began for me 17 years ago. I was in the network marketing profession, and I had built a very successful network marketing business for about 13 years up to that point. I met my son's mom through the business, and we not only got married, and we lived together and worked the business together side by side for 10 years. And my son, Josh, was born in April of 2003. It was the greatest moment of my life. There will be nothing that will ever compare to watching the birth of my son come into this world. And after that, we went through a lot of challenges. Marriages go through challenges. And, my son's mom was home raising him while I was at work building a business. And there was lots of tension. I'm all by myself. Why aren't you here helping me? Well, I'm out working to help you stay home so we could take care of our son like we discussed. And we started going through challenges. We went through 3 years of marriage counseling, couples counseling, the whole 9 yards. And then in June of 2006, we made the decision to amicably separate for 90 days just to see if maybe just that'll work, to try one last ditch effort to save our marriage. Well, at that time, my son was 3.5 years old, and I did not realize what was about to happen when that happened. First of all, I went into a monumental state of depression, the kind of depression that you can barely pull yourself out of bed in the morning kind of depression. And I tell people, Claire, depression is like a riptide. Gets a hold of you, doesn't want to let you go.
Yeah.
And that depression came from the fact that I went from seeing my son daily to seeing my son only on the weekends. And it crushed my heart, killed my spirit, thinking to myself, what am I doing to him? And because I was in depression, so unfocused, my business at the time that I had spent 13 years, blood, sweat, tears, just building, imploded right in front of my eyes. It sank faster than Titanic sank. And in November of that year, I woke up in a cold sweat. And I went into my living room and I grabbed a notepad, grabbed a pen, and grabbed a bottle of pills. And I laid on the floor of my apartment and I wrote this note. It said, "My dear son, I love you more than anything in this entire world. And I want you to know that you are the greatest thing that has ever happened in my life. But sometimes life gets difficult and life gets challenging. So I am writing you this letter to try and explain to you when you're older why your dad took his life." And that was probably one of the darkest moments I've ever had in my life. And I am a man of faith. So I believe and I know that God saved me that day because there was a greater purpose he had for me than what I was about to do. And after a few days, I started asking myself this question: how did this happen? I was the motivator. I was the encourager. I was the guy everyone came to share their problems. Jerry, I need help. Can you help me? Can you guide me? Can you direct? I was that guy. How did that guy end up on that floor writing that letter, getting ready to end it all? And then I figured out the answer, and it changed my life, and it's become my life's work. And the answer was this: in my greatest times, in my most successful times, I was managing my mindset. But in that moment, on that floor, when I had lost all hope, when I just thought it's all done, it's over, I've got nothing left to live for, my mindset began to manage me. And I realized in that moment that maybe people weren't in that deep a situation as I was, but I realized that one of the things that keeps people from the greatness that we're capable of achieving is the fact that we lose control of our mindset. We get these mental strongholds, that I like to call them, that just attack our minds, the doubts, the fears, the worries, the discouragements, the disappointments, the imposter syndrome, all of these different things that affect the way that we think, the way we behave, the way we act. And then we sit around in our life struggling, and we're looking around us and we're blaming everything else. If this would work better, if this person did that, if this happened, when what we really need to do is look ourselves in the mirror and says it starts from within. And I realized that. I blamed the world for why I was down on that floor. But in all honesty, it was my mindset and the way that I chose to think that was the reason I was on that floor. And so I got up off that floor and I decided I'm going to go help people that want to win, that want to change their lives, but they are just stuck. It's like they have a shackle holding them back. They've got limiting beliefs they can't get past. They've got doubts they can't overcome. And that has been my life's work from that point on 17 years ago. But it hasn't all been a smooth road to the top. You sometimes think, well, that's the last challenge I'm having in my life. Life is good. Oh, my friends, business, life, leadership, it's a roller coaster. Up, down, up, down, up, down. And I've had my good moments. I've had my bad moments. I've had my up days. I've had my down days. In fact, right now, if we're going to go dig deep, you want me to dig deep? Here we go, Claire. Right now.
Let's dig deep. Let's go.
Right now, I'm in one of those places. I'm in one of those difficult places where things are just not happening the way that I believe that they should. Things aren't happening the way that I had hoped that they would. Doors aren't breaking down the way that I would want. And it's so easy to get into that mental place of feeling sorry for yourself and having a pity party and sitting home and sucking your thumb and wishing what is going on. But the lessons that I've learned have helped me handle the challenges today. And one of the things I want to give your listeners right now is something that came to me when I was on that floor 17 years ago. And it's the reason why I can navigate the valleys faster than I did before. Now, let me explain this to you real quick. You will always end up in a valley at some point in your journey. Just because you get out of one doesn't mean you're not going to go back into one. But here's a secret. When you're in the valley, don't camp out. That's not the time to take out your tent, put up your chair, get out your coolers, put your umbrella up, put on your sunscreen, get a margarita, and sit in your chair and go, life is great. No, you got to pack that crap up and you got to get moving to the summit. Don't camp out in your valleys, move through your valleys. And I've learned that over the years. But here's the thing that really came to me. This was just something that came to me in my spirit, and it really was the defining moment of my life up to that point. And for some of your listeners right now, this is going to be huge. So don't miss this. Either you are overcome by the challenges you're facing, or you overcome the challenges you're facing. And the path that you take and the direction you choose is going to be solely based on where your mindset is at when you decide to make that decision. Are you going to be overcome by the challenges you're facing, or are you going to stand up, dust yourself off, and say, I will overcome the challenges that I'm facing? That's where resilience comes in. That's where determination comes in. That's where perseverance comes in. That's when you say, I will not give up. And you keep on moving forward until you get where you need to go. And that has been a defining thought for me, Claire, my entire business. Right now, I'm just in that place where it's easy for me to think, when is this going to happen? And it's easy to give up. It's easy to start going, well, maybe I'm not supposed to do this. Maybe I'm supposed to do something else. My friends, you wouldn't be where you are if it wasn't what you were supposed to do. Just because it's not easy, and just because it's not coming to you quickly and furiously, doesn't mean that's not what you're meant to do. You just got to get up and keep on moving forward.
Love that so much. And what you just said there at the very end, Jerry, really got me, because this theme has come through so many times, and it's a lesson that I have over and over and over again. And it's that surrendering of the control. And it's that, you know, when we're saying we want it all to happen now, we've got this timeline, we've got this goal that we have to reach by this point in time. And it's like, no, you know, the universe, God, divine, whatever you like to call it, it works in its own time. And for me, it was that big lesson of trust and surrender, that, like you said earlier, it's all happening for me and not to me. And just allowing that to happen and to flow whilst you still don't camp out, as Jerry said, and still continue to move up your summit. Wow, this is so powerful, Jerry.
No, thank you, Claire. I love sharing this stuff because I know how it's helped me. And I know that it helps lots of people, especially a lot of the people that I do coaching with that come to me that are just, they're in that valley and they're so stuck that they just can't get out, and they're looking at their processes and what they're doing. And let me tell you something, mindset alone isn't everything if you don't take action. You can have the greatest mindset and do nothing, and you're going to fail, right? It's a combination of mindset, skill set, and action. That's what I always teach people. You got to have the right mindset. You got to develop the right skill sets. And then don't just sit around there, because let me tell you something, Claire. I've been living where I live now for 30 years. There isn't a day in the last 30 years that someone knocked on my door in the middle of the evening, and I opened the door and they said, "Hey, are you Jerry Rosenthal?" "Yeah." "I heard you run a business and you coach people. I love to be coached by you." That's never happened. So stop sitting around waiting for someone to knock on your door. Get the mindset straight, get your skill set straight, and then get off your butt and get out there and start taking action and applying what you're doing. Well, there's a couple ways they can do it. I'm on Instagram, so they can follow me, and you can follow me. My name is Jerry, Jerry. My last name is spelled Roisentul. So you can follow me on Instagram at Jerry Roisentul. You can follow me on Facebook at Jerry Roisentul as well. I'm also on LinkedIn, same thing. You can check out my website, championmentorship.com. And I have a very uniquely structured 90-day coaching program that I have for people called Developing a Champion Mindset, where we work for 90 days. And this is not a course. This is actual one-on-one coaching with me for 90 days. And I just tell people, we're going to take a deep dive into your mindset. We're going to figure out all the things that are messing you up. And then I'm going to share many of the tools that I've used over my lifetime, my business, to help people get out of the pit that they're in so they can start moving up that summit for success. So if anyone is interested in information on that, they can send me an email at jerry@championmentorship.com, jerry@championmentorship.com. Let me know you were on the call and that you like information on the 90-day coaching program, and I'll get in touch with you and we'll give you some information.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. And all of those links will be in the show notes below. So if you're listening to this whilst multitasking, don't panic. You can come back, click those links and get in Jerry's world at any time. Please do share this episode with someone that you know is going to benefit from all of Jerry's amazing insight, from his shares, from his real and his raw leadership, and from his lived experience, because it's so, so powerful when we share these stories and when we all empower each other to realize that none of us have it figured out. We're all just here fumbling our way through and doing the best that we can, leading ourselves through it. Jerry, thank you so much for joining me all the way from California, for showcasing your real and your raw leadership, your vulnerability, and showing everyone the human behind the perception.
Thank you, Claire, and keep doing what you're doing. It is needed.
Thank you so much. And for you guys watching, I will see you next time on the Dad Share Challenge. Bye for now.